And this, like I told you, this reminds me of a place I stayed in England, where actually this little window right here would have been my room because it looked just like this. It was a carriage house at a big home that I stayed in.
What's the heating situation like?
It had air. I mean, it had central air in it.
Okay.
So it was modernized.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know. Like when I look at it, I just assume that they haven't really updated
mhm.
that much. That it's you've got your
Or
fireplace
really,
and.
well, I say that, but now that I think about it, maybe it didn't have central air, but England is so cold and
Mm-hmm.
damp. You just kind of don't need it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You don't need the heat or the
You might
the
need the
cold
heat, but
air.
I mean,
Okay.
it was comfortable. I remember that. And then like when I went and stayed in the castle in the Netherlands in Barlow, it was it was the windows were open and the wind was cool. It was cool, and I had a fan, so it was fine. Now they just went in November, so I don't know how cold it was in November there, but I'm sure I saw they had heat, but I don't know if they
Hmm.
had air, because I don't. It only gets really really hot for a very short period of time.
That reminds me, I stayed at a hotel in Chicago in November several years ago, and this was the weirdest story to me. It was on Michigan Avenue. It was the Hilton. I think like that's one of their more famous hotels, and um, I got into the room and it was like 74 degrees. It was really humid, and I called
In
down.
November in
It
Chicago.
was, yeah, like my room though. Like my room was
Okay.
just like muggy, and you could tell like no air was going in, and it
Hmm.
was just gross. So I turned on the air conditioning and it wasn't working. So I called down to the front desk and was like, "Hey, I'm having some issues with the air conditioning." And they're like, "Oh yes, we've turned it off. There's no air conditioning in the hotel right now." And I said, okay. So I just hung up the phone. I figured I just got someone who may have been stupid, and I'll call back in a few minutes and hope someone new answers at the front desk. So called back. Someone answered the phone and explained the situation again. And they're like, yeah, we just turned off the air conditioning. And I'm like, what do you mean? And oh, we're a historic hotel. We either have air conditioning available or heat. We never have one. We never have both at the same time. So just open up your window. I was on the 14th floor and there was no screen. So that was better to them. They thought that that
Oh
was a
no,
better.
that's how it is in Europe. That's it. That is when I was in England in the winter. There's heat. There's no air. I opened the window, but I wasn't on the 14th floor. But you
Yeah,
open the window
yeah.
when you get on, because and that, I never understand why every hotel, no matter what time of year it is, always has down comforters. Down's hot, and
Mm-hmm.
we're from the south, so I don't like being
Yes.
hot.
Yeah. We're
So
used to just like a nice cool breeze when you
right.
can control
So,
it.
so I open the windows and I'm like, bring the cold in because I'm getting under that down. So,
And people sleep better that way. You sleep better in a cold
hmm
room with nice warm sheets.